This is the Talking Wholesale podcast, where we get under the skin of the champions of the wholesale industry.
Lucozade Zero Pink Lemonade is a lemonade percent lemonade. Sparkly percent sparkling fizz with zero sugar. Let me just check the maths. Yep, great tasting Lucozade Zero Pink Lemonade is 100% Lucozade. Zero sugar.
Lucozade, it's on. Welcome to the first Behind Wholesale vodcast here at Confex. We're joined today by Lana Bhikha, who is Deputy Managing Director at Foodservice, and also with Kelly Pye, Head of UK Wholesale for the Millennium Group, two of Confex's largest members, both more board members as well. We're very happy to have you here with us today. Thank you for being here.
Very much.
And obviously helping me podcast and present today. We've got Jessica Douglas and myself, Managing Director at Confex and also Director of Confex. Right, okay, so without further ado, guys, we're going to interview you both. Tell us about, first Kelly, tell us about your career to date.
Okay, so keep a long story short, I think my main career in coming into management as well as then progressing on to wholesale was I was with a company, an international company for 8 years. They were a printing company now being brought out by Canon. So I was able to progress there and I went to other countries, France, Germany, and implemented CRM systems for their contact centre. I was a contact centre manager, so I worked on a big project there. And then they was relocating the contact centre to Birmingham, so I wasn't going to go to Birmingham. And I fell into a job literally with AG Bar, managing their telesales and their direct delivery service, and out of London. So I'd done that for 7 years, and in 2010 I was approached to come over to wholesale by AG Bar, and then I stayed there, and then 2 years ago I moved to Millennium Group as their head of UK sales.
Excellent.
And have you been in the same role at Millennium since you started there?
Yes, I have. Yeah. That was the, is to really come and maintain and grow the brands and the wholesale business within Millennium Group in the UK. So.
And you are growing?
Yes, yeah, we're doing amazing things. We've got some real good plans, and even recently, we've taken on some real good brands, and we're getting some real traction with them. Oatly for one, very, very popular, obviously, in the market now. So we have our own brands also, so On Spring Water, as you know, and Blow Bar Babe. So we're going on leaps and bounds. So yeah, good, interesting times.
And doing more kind of distribution as well for wholesale as a channel.
Yeah, because also we get a lot of suppliers that come to us that don't actually want to worry about doing smaller drops to wholesale customers. So they ask us to take on the brands and do that for them. So that's a real good route to market for some mainstream brands. And working with suppliers and getting their confidence, that we can do that job for them. So that attracts more suppliers into us to be able to do that. So. And it equips us. We do obviously central distribution.
Yeah.
So that allows us to take some good retail and food service brands into wholesale, and that's growing, very much so. And we're really putting some good resource behind that. We are looking to extend the warehouse, personnel, systems. Anything to make sure that in line with Confex and Millennium Group we grow central distribution. So
that's brilliant.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And Lana, tell us about your work life.
Well, mine's not been that long yet. So really, Woods for me was sort of my first role coming out of uni, really. I worked in retail just while I was studying beforehand, and did sort of about a 6-month stint in like a full-term position there.
Yeah.
But I joined Woods at 21, as an order taker. So I've just moved my way through the business and seen it grow as well, which has been really nice, and been able to get a real good sort of like feel for most of the areas, but there are still some that I need to spend more time in logistics and finance. So
out of that's interesting, coming straight out of uni into wholesale, and that's something that I know the industry are trying to kind of bring more of. What attracted you to the job in the first place?
Well, I really, really liked baking and enjoyed baking, and I think that was probably what I wanted to do, which was I went to university, wanted to be a history teacher, so it's completely different. I think I was probably bored of education by the time I'd finished my degree and would need to do another year or so. But the job it was an off chance that one of my friends used to work here and said, would you like to try a role in customer service? So I took it, and that was it. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So.
Never looked back.
Yeah, never looked back, definitely.
And as a business doing really well, you were just saying now you're on for having your biggest ever week this week.
The next 2 or 3 weeks should be the biggest that we've ever seen. So our logistics teams and customer service teams are working really hard to make sure that everyone's kept happy, whilst we still sort of managing the size building that we're in at the moment. So really, really good.
Excellent. Thank you. So quite a punchy question here, but being both women in quite prominent jobs in wholesale, how do you find working in wholesale in terms of the diversity, equity and inclusion perspective? Has that been anything that you've come across struggles or?
Well, obviously coming into wholesale quite some years ago now, it was a very different environment. You can imagine it's very male dominated, even going into customers and sitting in front of customers, there was hardly any men that you'd be dealing with as buyers, etc. Women as buyers, etc. It was mainly men, and you had to go in and basically make sure that you was doing what you said that you was doing. You had to gain respect, and it's gone through that now you can see a lot more women coming into wholesale. Obviously you've got women in wholesale, a massive movement every year I go, and I've seen this from the start with Illit. Illit came out with me I think in about 2012 into one of my wholesale accounts, and actually we went to quite a few, but I think she was from then on inspired to look at the women in wholesale movement and to empower and make sure that women do get the platform that they should. And when it comes to that movement in itself, pioneering diversity, inclusion, they're brilliant at that, and the schemes that they're doing, and every conference is really enlightening to how they're moving that forward too. So and there's still massive opportunity for growth. I think we are really we're really like getting through it now, but we're still scratching the surface of what women can prominently do in wholesale, and a big part that they play. So
so improvements, but lots more to come.
I think as I say, even just looking at buyers, meeting Lana, and you go to the FWD and you get introduced to people and you're putting their names to faces, and there's so much more in regards to what can be done with that wholesale market.
And Lana, because you were quite young when you came in as well.
I was, but actually all of our office staff nearly were women when I joined. Apart from, I think we had one or two males up in the office, where logistically the majority of our staff were male. We have had at least one lady driver with us before, but I think for us, I think we're quite different because of where we're located. We have got a really diverse, not just sort of in gender, but nationalities and everything. We've got a real diverse mix of people, but I do think it's probably reflective of where our location is. So we are probably a bit different than some of the other wholesalers in the industry. But I was chatting with one of our brand ambassadors this morning, and we were saying that I think it's going to have to be like the older generation's mindset to change, because the new generation coming in have got different ideals about diversity, inclusion, everything like that, and they're the future of wholesale, really.
Future almost
of the world,
kind of unacceptable for that
and it's
to not be, isn't
it?
It is, and but they need to kind of learn from them, I think, be more open to their opinions and sort of like social norms now as well. So there's still a lot to do though. But even when you're saying about women in wholesale, about it not just being about younger generation, but also the older people that we have within the business. We've got the menopause cafe for women in wholesale as well, which we need to kind of take on, learn from, and everything like that. So myself and our HR director are going to join in on those clinics.
It's great. We've got women in wholesale and FWD facilitating things like that for the industry to give access to businesses that don't necessarily have the time to set something like that up, isn't it? So I think, as you say, we've come a long way, but
10 years ago that didn't exist.
Exactly.
So
I'm quite proud that Wholesale's doing something about it. I mean, Elliot, amazing. Known her for her first week when she started there, came into the industry, and meeting her, and she's a very powerful lady that has, driven that. But everyone's got on board with it, so it's great.
Done amazing, great progress, and then to have the FWD back in that as well, and taking. Yeah, that you can really see the growth that's already happened,
and the Dignity at Work charter that the FWD have done as well. That's
and obviously when it comes to staff and employing people and making sure you've got the right policies in place, it must be an advantage. It's now a very important part of being able to employ the right people. I should imagine, isn't it?
I think as well it's important that all of the staff feel like they've got a role model or somebody that they can actually go, they're comfortable to go and speak to, that they can relate to as well. So it's important that we've got a really diverse sort of member of staff for everyone to be able to openly go and suggest things to, speak to them about. And
kind of mentoring within the business. Yeah, very cool. Good. And then to kind of leads us on to wholesale as an industry, and how do you think, Kelly, it's going to change over the next few years, and not just the people in it, but the actual industry and where we're going?
It's already changed so much, isn't it? Last couple of years with the pandemic, we saw online soar, sales, and I think increased by 91% over that time, and then obviously we need to go on from that. You'll see the digital age advertising. It's very much all about pricing, availability, and obviously the brands that are relevant. And I really do feel that availability is definitely going to be key, and suppliers working very closely with their customers to be able to make sure that
the supply chains have been strained, haven't they? And not
so.
Just we had Brexit before that, and we've also got the Ukrainian war. So that has shone a light on some bad supply chains within the UK. So I think post COVID we've got that whole being more British and making sure we're sustainable, aren't we? Really?
I think it's interesting. Kelly was saying that Oatly has done so well, which I've known about, but that's the alternatives as well. People seem to be more.
They're mainstream now, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that widens the net really of
we say about us, like looking about diversity. I think our customers have been had to be so diverse in regards to changing their business model for what they thought that would work pre-pandemic to now post-pandemic, and what is it that their customers are actually wanting. Instead of trying to give their customers something that they want, they're actually, I think, listening.
And I'm sure that's with you, Lana, with the big restaurants. I'm sure the whole plant-based and vegan, it's changed so dramatically. It means that your offering has to change.
Definitely our alternative sort of ranges. I think as well, allergies are always a huge thing for us. So investing in, I think it's sort of investment in the technical team and everything like that as well, kind of goes hand in hand with all of the vegan menus that we're seeing. But sort of more broadly, the way that I kind of see wholesale moving or needing to move is to be able to compete with people like Amazon, because they're starting to list things that are more wholesale focused now, and working on service levels that are going to be up. And that's the thing that Amazon won't be able to, and different sort of platforms like that, they aren't going to be able to provide chefs or end users with the information that they need and the template that they need and everything like that. So it's looking at where the point of difference that wholesalers can give that those different platforms can't.
Making that stickiness between your customers and yourself. And that's true, isn't it? Because you can get something very quickly perhaps on Amazon, but you can't get all the backup that's required.
You can't, and you don't have the reliability and of where you're sourcing your ingredients from. So,
and I think you're right as well in regards to, we should never move away from the fact that customer relationships are so important. It does, it's always been a way of making sure that we really do grow businesses, and I think you can't do that just with Amazon.
Collaboration,
and the trust element that's there, that they know that you're going to do right for their business, and you're going to put a plan together, whether it be a joint business plan or anything like that. So it's
interesting, though, isn't it? We have to do a lot more as wholesalers, don't we, to retain and grow? But if you do it right, there's lots of business out there to grow too. It's
good. So out of wholesale now, I've learnt something about Kelly this morning, which I didn't know that you have in common with myself and Tom. What are your interests?
Tom did know.
I do.
So I have my own horse. So he's my money drainer, as you know. But he's I've had him now just near on 8 years, and we are currently in training to go out and compete in dressage to music early next year. So
that's your escape from wholesale.
It is. That's where you'll find me at the weekends. That and and I have a real good supportive family, like my parents, and have been very supportive over my career, etc. So so it's either family or horse, mainly horse, but my parents do come down and see the horse.
It's important to be able to switch off, isn't it, and have time outside of work for the kind of balance.
Because everybody needs to recharge, and you need to, otherwise you'd be thinking about everything, all what's going to go on, and it's so easy as well to on a Sunday to slip in the mindset for Monday, and I really try not to do that until Monday. Those 2 days really are your everything, to be able to recharge,
especially with technology when everyone's on call
available the whole time.
On emails. Well, to be fair, in regards to Millennium Group as a company, very good in giving you that time, and nothing is there's no pressure on anything like that. So they do appreciate that time, and then you start your working week again, but that's the norm, so the
very good. And same question to you, Lana. What have you got outside of work? You've just got a family.
Well, I've got a family that kind of takes over the majority of my time. So I've got 2.5-year-old twin girls. So they we've got our hands full at home at the moment, whilst they're so young still. And that's pretty much our weekend. But again, really supportive network at home. My husband and our both sets of our parents as well. But the same on the work side too. Really supportive group of people at work that all care for each other and everyone's well-being as well. So it's something that we do try to sort of champion. And
has both of you, well, I'll ask you first, Lana, from COVID, do you have more of a flexible working opportunity for employees now? Can they?
It sort of depends on what the employee, their actual job role. So but I think for us, everyone really enjoys the social aspect of being in the office as well.
Like being here.
So they like being here, and everyone's happy to be here. So there's not much in terms of people wanting to stay away.
Is it shift work? Is that how it works?
Well, we've got it all kind of again depends on the department. So our logistics team, it's sort of nearly 24/7. But we've got our warehousemen that are working through from sort of like 6:30 until 2 with all of our deliveries coming in, then pickers starting on staggered shifts. They pick everything for our drivers to then come in at 4 a.m, load up the vans and go out. So it is there's sort of like a rolling shift pattern for them. And sort of our more office-based staff are working more sort of 9 till 5 kind of hours. But yeah, for everyone sort of for the needs of the business and the customer, really.
Yeah. And similar with Millennium.
Yes, you know, I think it's definitely from our point of view in regards to over COVID, it was a lot of people were office based, and you know, for myself, we set up phone systems that people could work from home because of the COVID situation. But then I think people have come back in, but we do have that kind of backup with our phone systems and that people can work from home, etc. I think it's important really to find what a person really thrives at. If they've got that kind of job role, you know, like myself, I go into the office once or twice a week. I like that because I can see people get things done and I can have the meetings that I need to have, etc. And then I can also have the flexibility of working from home or going out and seeing customers. As I said, I was in London yesterday, you know, so it's exciting, and doing this today. So it's I think Millennium Group really do understand that now. I think COVID taught everybody quite a lesson in regards to that.
And I think, you know, we've found, haven't we, as you grow and become truly national, then your talent pool grows, which is really cool. So to have the flexibility allows you to have better quality of staff, perhaps, you know. Depending on what you're doing, obviously, if you're wholesale, you've got a shed, you've got to service your clients. But yeah, I think, you know, both of your companies I know are looking to grow and add on extra depots, and it will hopefully increase the talent pool.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, you have to listen to people, what they're aspiring to do within their job role. You know, we've got somebody in telesales that actually has got a real good flair for being and wants to be in our credit control and accounts. And, you know, we've listened to that and we've made the right steps for progression internally as well. So yeah, you have to.
I think you'll find that, haven't you, Jess, with the HR side of Confex? You know, it's good to promote from within where possible.
Definitely. Yeah.
This podcast is sponsored by Core, a complete range of products tailored to the food service sector. This is the Talking Wholesale podcast, where we get under the skin of the champions of the wholesale industry. Okay, so last question. Let's come to Lana first. So what inspiration advice can you give to young people starting in wholesale?
To always take constructive criticism in a good way, because it's meant for your own development and your own development in the company and the company as a whole. Yeah. And to not worry about everyone else around you so much and what they think. But focus on yourself and your own ambition and drive and success. Yeah,
and if you're doing your job correctly and right, people will notice.
And sometimes that might take a little bit of time, but it doesn't go unnoticed.
Excellent, very good. Kelly, what do you think?
I think I see it for myself, you know, especially with women in wholesale, etc. They have the mentor scheme too. I think that's very important to find a mentor, someone who can really give you some good and impart some good knowledge. Not, you know, whoever it may be, but also whatever job roles that you're in or you're applying for, just make sure they're relevant for the right path as such. You can never really plan it. I mean, I didn't really plan a lot of mine until I was approached to come over to wholesale. and then I've never looked back, and
Yeah.
it's been, it's always been a great place to be. It's always been the fun factor for me,
and actually quite a small industry. Really, people think it's big, but
everybody actually does know each other,
and
and so many people have been part of the journey in my career that have given me advice, and so I think definitely get some good allies within the industry that are going to steer you right.
It is amazing once people come into wholesale, they do seem to stay. So it must be a good place to work, I think.
I just think it is. I mean, you can see from the FWD Gold Medal Awards what we had the other night. So we are just a good bunch to be around, and when you've got also you're coming in, and events like that are a really good key indicator to be looking around as a younger person in wholesale, to look at companies, to look at who's doing what, the opportunities. I mean, just for instance, with Blowbar Vapes, the stand that we had so many younger employees coming up and really asking some questions, and vaping market is massive, and it's still going to be massive, so and growing a rate of knots, and it's just so many the younger were really interested in the brand, and so I think it's also if you're going to work for a company, research the brand, make sure it's relevant to you. Make sure it's something that you know.
Baking.
Anymore, doesn't have to. Rice Krispie cakes is really the most that we get done at home. But Kelly just touched on something as well, and I think it's really important that you have that mentor, but you also get some goals written down for yourself as well, with that mentor, and sort of hold yourself accountable for it too, because that's really important to see your own progress and to see where you have been able to tick something off your list, marginal gains every day are what's important. So we even have just our weekly reports at the end of the week, and they're not just about the figure side of things. It's like, what have we actually managed to achieve this week? And you don't realise until you come to the end of the week what you've actually managed to do. And I think that's really important as well for the younger team to sort of be involved in and
keep motivated.
Motivated. Definitely.
I'd definitely say you've definitely got to have some smart goals, objectives. To know where you want to be. As you say, it's not just about how the value sounds.
No.
It's about the value that you've actually put into your
and you develop as a person, and you're always moving forward. Definitely. Excellent. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a great Christmas. I know it'll be very busy for wholesalers the next few weeks, but then hopefully you can have a bit of a break. Thank you very much everyone for listening and viewing. We're going to be on YouTube now, so we'll have a new channel and add lots of content. So thank you very much. Thank you for everyone for being with us.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
This is the Talking Wholesale podcast, where we get under the skin of the champions of the wholesale industry.